Bonding dentists together through Dentist Job Connect to share in the joy of dentisting is what we do best. If you need help finding an amazing job or hiring an awesome associate, please reach out to us at dentistjobconnect.com or text hire to 215-798-9897. If scrolling on your phone is one of your favorite things to do, like I love to do, just text job to 215-798-9897 and scroll through over 300 open positions right now on Dentist Job Connect. So I'm here with two amazing people who are a gift to this dentisting world. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. We will start with Dr. Michael McKay. Please share with us who you are, where you're sitting, and a little bit about your dental practice.
Well, sure. I'm Dr. Michael McKay. I didn't know I was a gift to the world. Now, this is great.
You are.
I'm in beautiful Selah, Washington, which is just outside of Yakima, Washington, which is about 2 hours east over the Cascade Range of Seattle. So kind of in the middle of the state and the beautiful hop fields, apple orchards, and wine country.
Nice. And you're a dental practice owner. You're running a dental practice / circus daily. Tell us just, like, let's say someone hasn't bought a dental practice, hasn't become an owner. What's one of the most fun parts about being a dental practice owner, Michael?
I mean, for me, the fun part is just kind of watching the growth over time. I mean, I started as a solo doc, like grinding in a 100% Medicaid office, and then slowly over time adding more specialties, more skill sets, and just kind of seeing the growth and be able to turn around and look backwards and be like, oh, do you remember when? And it's kind of fun just looking at the progression, even though it's been 8 years. It's been fun kind of slowly developing new skill
That's
sets
cool.
and then also just kind of changing what you do on a daily basis as you take on more business ownership role. It gives you something new to do, which in dentistry can get kind of boring because we only have like the same 7 things we do over and over and over
Yeah, yeah.
again.
Monogamy. Now, before we go to your awesome associate, that was fun. Another F word, but we'll keep it a PG one. What's like a frustrating part about being a practice owner? What's like, hey, if someone doesn't know about it, you got to expect this frustration. It's just part of the game, but it's something that I deal with on a daily basis as an owner.
I would say, for me, the biggest frustration actually comes down to when I, again, kind of looking back where I go, you know what? I was being myopic on something. I wasn't actually, if I would have just done X, Y, and Z, I would have headed off this problem to begin with. And, kind of the second I start trying to point a finger, I need to realize I have to kind of zoom it right back
Yeah.
because I didn't set up the system. I didn't set up the answer for the question. Very rarely do one-offs come off in dentistry. It's usually as a leader, you didn't do your job. And you're like, man, if I just would have done it and done a little bit better, I would have had to have this issue. So most of my problems actually are self-frustrations of me going like, dang it, I probably could have done.
I love that. I love that self-awareness. We're both members of the Dental Success Institute, where you get help from outside of your box. If there's one thing that people want to hear in this moment is get help outside of your box. Don't try to do it alone. So thanks, Michael. Now you have your dentist friend with you. Can you introduce yourself, other dentist here on the interview?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Braden VanDyke. So this is my first year being a dentist, associate dentist. So I graduated from University of New England earlier this year.
Awesome. And so you're a 2024 grad?
Yes.
So you are new into this world of dentisting. Same question for you. If you were helping someone going from the dental school or residency right into the real world, what's been like a fun part for you being out of dental school, practicing dentistry in the real world of dentisting?
Having a little bit of autonomy and just having the ability to kind of, I guess, keep an open mind and kind of just absorb everything and having a good team around you to really kind of lean on them and help you kind of
Nice.
get acclimated to
I
everything.
love, well, I'll share. And whether you went to dental school in 2002 like me or 2024, it is wild. And by wild, I mean totally insane and stupid that you have to do so much yourself as a dental student, right? You don't have the clinical skills, but they make you take your patient to pay. You set up your own operatories. I don't know if they'll ever change it, but that to me, I'm with you. It was great to have someone to rely on other than yourself. Now, same question again. What's been frustrating, or maybe something that's a challenge, or something you didn't think about as a dental student that if you were helping a D4 now or someone in their GPR, say, make sure you focus on this, make sure you pay attention to this in the frustration area?
Well, I guess dental school just kind of focuses on the clinical stuff strictly, and then you don't get necessarily the proper education with like patient communication and everything. So that's something Dr. McKay has kind of helped get me up to speed on as far as how to talk to patients and kind of work your way through the speed bumps.
That's so weird, Braden, because all my patients compliment me on my beautiful crown prep, and they don't care what I say. Just kidding. No one wants us complimenting on that. What the words you say influence sex. Now, um, I'm so proud to have helped you guys. So just share, Michael, like, how did you meet this awesome associate? Just through luck or like, hitting the pavement? How did you meet Dr. Braden?
Well, I had the good luck to be introduced to your services from a fellow who had used you. And so, I mean, Dentist Job Connect's the way I found Dr. VanDyke. So call it luck or call it I was, hunting and asking people how to help find associates
Yeah.
and how
You
they've
made your
actually
own
found
luck.
their mousetrap. Yeah.
You made your
So,
own luck by knowing Dr. Andrew Vallow,
yeah,
who
pretty
said,
much. I
hey,
talked to Andrew, and he was like, "Oh, talk to Paul." Then I talked to you. Well, we all happened to be in that fun little circle out of DSI, which didn't hurt at all. But then when I used the service, obviously it was very streamlined, and it was able to put us together as far as Dr. VanDyke and me, as for interviews, and we kind of hit it off. We had a very similar background, which I found hilarious. Was that for Dr. VanDyke, it's his second career. This is my second career. We're both from the same area of Oregon growing up. We went to competing undergrads. He was an Oregon State guy. I'm a U of O guy. So it's kind of like, and then he has a beard and a full head of hair. I have a beard and no hair. So, I mean, we're very similar. It's just like, I kind
I
of
like
see,
it.
yeah.
It can't be an easy at the time of this recording. Sorry, Braden. It can't be easy to be an Oregon fan with their current standing in
Yeah,
college
no,
football.
we've seen better days.
We talk about this. You can't do it alone. So I had an awesome team member who helped you. This is us at the Dental Success Summit with Morgan from the Dentist Job Connect team. So you utilized us, Michael, to search for your associate so you can unlock more freedom, more free time, fuel the growth of your practice. We've done some great interviews. You didn't get an associate because you want to retire. Tell our audience why you hired an associate.
Well, I mean, for kind of going back to new challenges, is that I have prepped thousands of crowns, I've placed thousands of implants. Like, I feel like for me now, what my growth path is actually growth in the business side, and so I don't plan on slowing down. I'm just proud on adding associates in Rockville. Dr. VanDyke can tell you, like, when I'm here, I still work like a madman most of the time. But the whole point is that over time, I can stop working like a madman, give them more, and then eventually start to open up more opportunities for associates and everybody else to maybe transition to ownership within the realm of being a part of the practice by growing the whole pie even bigger, so we can all have a little bit bigger piece of this, a bigger slice of the pie, if you will. So that's kind of my thought process as far as adding associates, is to eventually, I want to back my time out of the chair, but B, be able to expand maybe into multiple ownership, or just get this one practice to such a point where it's running very, very high end. But if you are trying to grow your practice and still be a clinical madman, it gets to the point where you will have to give up something. And I don't want to give up the time with my family or give up the time for my hobbies that make me want to keep doing dentistry.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, dentistry is dosage dependent. As someone who started two companies from the thoughts in their head and also has two dental practices, I will share, which I've shared on the record many times, that an hour of doing dentistry to me is like 3 hours of doing anything else. It is being 6 inches away from someone's face who does not want to be there or pay for it. The intensity around that feeling, no matter how many lives you are changing, is so difficult and so intense that you have to be cautious about not overdoing. I like that. Now, Braden, I'm surprised you need a Job Connect because I'm assuming there was just so many good lectures in dental school about exactly how to find a job, how to interview for a job, where to go. I mean, they're charging you hundreds of thousands of dollars. So why did you need us at Dentist Job Connect to help you find Dr. McKay?
Sorry, the question was why did I need
Why
you
did you
guys?
need Job Connect? Because share with our audience, do they do a lot of training on interviewing and finding jobs in dental school, or they kind of just say, good luck, go out there?
Yeah, it's more of a good luck. Like, you guys are highly qualified, you'll be in demand kind of thing, and then you're kind of just left to your own. Like, all right, yeah, reach out to reps or try these different websites. That's kind of where they leave it.
So through this process with us, how is using the Dentist Job Connect platform to bond together with Dr. McKay? How'd it go for you?
Oh, it's fantastic. It was very streamlined. You pretty much just make your own profile, able to easily upload your resume. And then fortunately for me, I mean, I actually saw the job posting through Instagram, through social media originally. So then I went on and created a profile, and pretty much after I submitted the job, Dr. McKay, the application, Dr. McKay reached out shortly after, and things kind of just moved quickly from there.
So I like it. So I just like to share because I don't miss an opportunity to pat myself on the back. Both of you very lucky to know me, right? Because you're
Yeah,
sitting
100%. Yeah,
transforming people's
100.
lives through this.
100.
Now, I make a lot of jokes with you, Michael, but you do deliver so much awesome value. I won't play this entire video. People can see it later, but this was you sharing, and I'll tell both of you, and especially you, Braden, you can move people forward with positivity. You can move people forward with pain, whether it's your next patient in the office. Hey, if you get this crown like a hard hat for your tooth, you're gonna be able to chew the foods that you enjoy to eat. And if you like chicken parm, you can chew on chicken parm. Or if you don't get this crown, your tooth could disintegrate, you can have an infection, you could miss your next vacation, right? So that's one of my tips on how you can move people forward with positivity and pain. And Michael, even though you are very positive, you did share at the DSI and DSS meeting last time. You're one injury away from what as a solo practice owner? If you would share some risk for a solo practice owner about associates, you're one injury away from what?
Well, I mean, like, break a shoulder, break a hip. I mean, like, it's not very much, doesn't take very much. Like, I was building a sauna yesterday. It's like almost big barrel ones with my dad. And I was sitting there hammering away. And I'm like, I'm right next to my thumb that I used to working every day. It wouldn't take
Yeah.
very much for boom, not paying attention, broken thumb. I'm not like going to die, but I may not be able to work for 6 or 7 weeks. That could be devastating financially. But if you have associates, you have practice income. You have people still doing treatment. You don't have to push off other treatment. You can push it to your associate. So it de-risks your personal life to have at least an associate. Not everybody has to go and like conquer the world. I'm not saying you need to do that, but if you don't have at least one, you have a lot of health risk and risk that you may not realize you're putting on your family by not having somebody else to back you up in those situations.
I love that. And, as we're teaching here, there's somebody in your dental office that really benefits from an associate dentist if you are injured or sick, and that's your team. Because without an associate dentist, your team might not be able to work. And we talk about helping patients, but what about your team when you're on vacation, you're out? And I really appreciate you kind of highlighting that risk. One is fueling growth, right? Fueling growth, creating what you want to create, but the other is protecting your practice from risk. Braden, tell me, you graduated from dental school in 2024. Let's just say you're helping the next generation of dentists. What are some qualities that dental students should embrace about being successful as an associate? What should they be thinking about? What CE should they be taking? How many jobs they're applying for? It's your time. Kind of help us with that.
I think the main thing is just kind of being open-minded in general, kind of be a sponge. I was specifically seeking a position that had somebody that was available to be a mentor as a new graduate that didn't do any sort of residency or anything. So that
Why don't you share kind of what we're doing for a patient don't we have a kind of cool case coming up? Why don't you share that with the implant kind we're doing for them?
Yeah, so we have a case coming up with a patient. I didn't get a ton of experience placing implants in dental school. Dr. McKay, as you mentioned, has placed thousands of implants. So I kind of reviewed the case with him. We ran through the CBCT together. He's like, this would be a great case for you to perform. So it's on the schedule. We basically blocked it off to where he's able to work with me on the case and kind of get that mentorship I was really looking for.
And that's an I love that. And I love dental implants too, because dental implants don't get decay and they're better than teeth. But I didn't say that out loud. I didn't say that out loud. I didn't say it out loud. Not like, oh, they can't get decay and teeth can. I didn't say it out loud. But everything, all tacos and nachos. Tacos, teeth, nachos, good. They're both good. But implants are so exciting because you get to give someone a bionic set of teeth or a new tooth when their tooth is gone. But like you said, you need to have people that have your back. So how often, Braden, are you glad to say, oh man, I'm glad I can go out of my operatory and ask Dr. McKay a question. I'm glad I can text him. Just kind of tell our audience how important it is to have mentorship or someone to say, is this normal to survive, thrive, and not cry as an associate dentist?
Yeah, I think it's invaluable. I mean, it's slowly happening, maybe a little bit less over time as I start to kind of get acclimated and everything. But, early on, it's like every day. And there's also another associate here who, if Dr. McKay is busy, I can also kind of ask him for feedback. So it definitely helps me feel more comfortable and kind of get up to speed as far as everything goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's so awesome. And I had that from with my dad, and yeah, I'd done a multiple year GPR. So a lot of the questions aren't always clinical. Michael, I mean, do you get questions from your associates like, why is this patient acting so nacho nuts? And you're like, well, that's just how they are. We got to help them. Tell us a little bit about how you mentor, not on necessarily placing an implant or a crown prep, but just some of the soft skills or the things that don't show up on the dentisting stat sheet.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about treatment plan acceptance, I mean, that's really like kind of the one of the big things that we don't talk about. You know, it's great we have all the hand skills in the world, but if we can't effectively communicate what we're trying to get the patient to accomplish and why they need to do it, that is then no matter how good I am at pulling the tooth, I need to get them first to recognize that needs to happen. And so, you know, likely with Dr. VanDyke, he came in pretty smooth and pretty polished. So for him, it was just kind of a few tips here and there, but kind of learning the business side of it, kind of learning the insurance side of it, kind of learning, you know, all the different intricacies in and out. You know, it's part of the reason why I'm actually going to take him to DSI in January, is so he can start getting a little bit more exposure on what that looks like from you know, more of an ownership level, but also just kind of gives you the exposure to kind of communicate with patients better to get them to say yes to the treatment they need. Because we all say, you know, we diagnose, you know, 3 times more treatment than we do. So that means we have 65% failures out here, 60% failures, because we're not getting our patients to do about 60% of the treatment on average. So, you know, if we can even move that needle a little bit by making sure we're talking to patients the right way, organizing treatment for them in a way that makes sense, then we're going to be way more successful, even if we move that needle by 10%.
I love that. I'm going to compensate both of you for this interview. Make sure you get a copy of my book, The ABCs of Patient Communication. I will send it for free to you guys. It literally is A through Z, what words to say and what words not to say cannot seem weird and unlikable to your patients. I don't know if this is a surprise, Braden, but calling their tooth a hopeless failure is not very likable. Instead, say, oh, hey, great job having this tooth last for 37 years. We eat 1,000 meals a year. That's 37,000 meals. It's time for your tooth to retire and be replaced. So much nicer than how we're taught to talk in dental school. So as we wrap up, I really appreciate your guys' time. You know, you both represent everything that's right with dentistry. I want to ask you, Braden, what was your career before dentistry?
I actually worked in the poultry industry, so like completely unrelated. But yeah, I did that for about 5 years before dental school.
And Michael, what was your career before dentistry?
I was the #1 Viagra salesman in the Northwest.
Wow. So you guys came outside the dental. Wait, what did he say was? You
#1 Viagra salesman in the Northwest.
That's so Michael. Sorry, you even got
job
that.
That got me up every morning, man. Like,
what was your real job before dentistry?
That's Pfizer. I worked for a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah. I knew it was business like that. I like that. That's a good opener. Well,
yeah, that was my bag was that was one of the drugs I represented was Viagra. So
well, be proud of your success. I like that. Now, if we just kind of wrap up with this, you know, I talk about ROI. Many people think that's return on investment, which is part of it, but the real ROI of what we do is relationships, opportunity, and the impact we get to have on others. That's my right. What's been the most rewarding part of working together? I'll go with you, Braden. Like, what's just been super rewarding for you, whether it's a professional, as a person, as someone who wasn't sure if going to becoming a dentist was the right second move? You just left us with what's been the most rewarding part. Share that with us.
Yeah, I think we kind of hit on the mentorship thing. But the other thing is working with somebody who has kind of accomplished the goals already that you're looking to accomplish. And you can kind of use them as a guide to get where you want to be. And again, with the mentorship things.
I love that. Yeah. Well, I mean, what you shared for me to highlight for our audience is you don't have to reinvent everything yourself. You can learn from amazing role models doing exactly what you want to do, learn from their success, learn from their stress, learn what they would do again, learn what they wouldn't do again. So I appreciate it. Michael, same to you. What's been the most rewarding part of the experience of going from one solo dentist to having associates with you each day?
I mean, you know, financially, you know, like, you know, having somebody here to go to work, like I'm going to Mexico next week and I'm going to be really happy that there's going to be people here helping me pay payroll. So from a financial standpoint, that's fantastic. Personally, you know, like even though they say like, hey, you need to mentor them, it is really nice having, you know, 2 associates now that I can talk dental shop with. Because nobody's understand the same struggles. Like a hygienist doesn't understand the same struggles as a dentist. When I'm talking about, man, I'm really had to have a hard time cutting out that number 19, and I'm like, just want to like kind of exasperation about how difficult that was. You had that patient that was a little extra, and you just kind of want to talk about it. Talking to another dentist in the moment can sometimes help calm you down and make you feel good. And then plus he's a sandbagger of a golfer, so that's been fun, kind of get to know him
I
personally.
love that.
So,
You said something so awesome, and I've said this, and my friend Dr. Todd Fleischman, who I encouraged to hire an associate, and he didn't want to hire one. I said you got to hire one. He now says he will never go back to practicing alone. He will never go back to practicing alone, because I think there's some funny TikToks people can make. Is the hygienist can hang out, the assistants, the front desk team member, then you have the dentist by themselves eating lunch by themselves with no one to talk to, and you now have someone to sit with you at lunch and commiserate over the things that matter to you, celebrate the things that matter to you. And I so appreciate both of you guys. Dentist Job Connect is here to help like this. You can reach out to us at dentistjobconnect.com. You can text hire to 215-798-9897. And Michael, if people want to check out your website and what you do, what's the best place for them to go to?
Sailor Creek Dental, www.sailorcreekdental.com. It's a mouthful. So, or, I don't have socials. I don't have an Instagram. I don't think. I'm sure my business does, but
we'll stick with your website.
I'm an old millennial.
Yeah. Start your own. Well, thanks so much, guys, for sharing with us. Hang around for a minute. Everyone else who's watching, we can help you. Please reach out to us at dentistjobconnect.com. Have a great day, guys.